There's obviously basic needs that people have to have, but one of the things is to feel approved or appreciated by other people. It's to the point that if we run into any kind of conflict, it creates a lot of tension, it creates a lot of mental issues on our part. And it can be very difficult for us to handle those sorts of things. I'm one of the many people who knows this the most because I was one of those individuals that wanted to be accepted and appreciated by every single person that was in my life. I was always the type of person that was always hanging around a lot of people when I was younger. I always wanted to feel appreciated and accepted by other people. And even as I grew older, this became something more and more important to me, even though I was becoming more distant from other people, and obviously it created a lot of problems for me on a mental level. But how I was able to overcome all of that stuff was by asking myself 4 questions. And this honestly is the best way that I think to deal with situations where you're running into people that don't approve of what it is that you're doing. Because obviously we're going to be running into those kinds of people. That is inevitable. That's part of life. But we're not really taught how to be overcoming those sorts of things. And a lot of us are left to our own devices, and frankly, some of us don't really handle that the best way. For me, I was stuck in a depression episode for a very long time, and even as an adult, I ran into those sorts of issues as well when I decided to open up a business and to start an entrepreneurial career. So for me, how I was able to overcome all of that stuff was by asking myself 4 questions whenever I ran into any kind of conflict whatsoever. The very first question that I asked myself is, who are they? This is important because it puts into perspective who exactly is this person that is not approving of you. Because obviously a lot of us play mental tricks on ourselves. Back when I was a teenager, I started to seek approval from every single person. But that sort of approval came from my own perspective. I wanted people to be accepting of me, and this was something that I self-imposed on myself as opposed to running into actual conflict to begin with. There was no sort of conflict until I actually created that sort of conflict inside my own head. So it's important to be putting into perspective, who are they? Who exactly doesn't approve of you? And that leads into the second question of, do I care about this person? This is important because obviously if you're playing mental tricks on yourself, then obviously you don't really know whether that person is someone that actually cares a lot about you, or in fact you might not even care that much about that person. You might not even talk that much with them. So why exactly are you putting all of this emphasis, why are you putting all of this stress onto someone's expectations of you that you don't even know? It doesn't make any sense. It's important to be putting people into perspective of who exactly doesn't approve of you, but also, do you actually care about this person? Whether it's someone that is significant in your life, or if it's someone that is just like some random comment on some of the content that you're posting. At least in my case, if it's something like that, then it's like, I don't really care that much about the person unless they actually provide something that's meaningful. And that leads into the third question that I ask, is what exactly do they not approve of? Because I think it's important for us to understand other people's perspectives. It's important to understand other people's opinions and views of the world, and it helps you with understanding that person. If they're actually vocal about it and they're presenting themselves as an actual barrier to you, then it's important to be looking at why exactly are they resisting, why exactly are they disapproving of you. And it's important at that point in time to be looking at what it is that you're doing, because some of the reasons why they might be against that is because you're doing the wrong thing. You don't really know. And it's important to be understanding that person's perspective and putting that into your own considerations for whatever it is that you're striving to do or who you are as an individual. That's not to say that we shouldn't be changing ourselves for the approval of one individual or several individuals. We are our own individuals, and we should be who we want to be, and shouldn't be influenced heavily by other people's opinions, unless it's someone that's actually close and understands what it is that you're doing and what's going on and has the full picture. And that's really why I asked myself that third question, and whether I should be changing my approach and changing my own life. And that's how I was able to appreciate and accept what it is that I'm striving to do, and it changed my mindset and attitude towards what it is that I'm doing. And that leads into the fourth question of, does it matter? I was able to grow from adversity from myself and from other people because I took some time to be looking at what it is that they're addressing and started to make some changes from myself, whether it's on a mental level or whether it's on content that I'm delivering, or my own business, or the path that I'm walking on to begin with. It's important to be looking at all of that, because if it's something that really matters to you, if it's a path that you really want to be striving for, then obviously it's going to matter a lot. But if they're suggesting something that's going to lead you astray, or that you think is going to lead you astray, then obviously you want to be rejecting that, and you want to be moving past that and finding a way to best explain that to the other person, and to be moving beyond that. So by asking those 4 questions, you're going to be better able to manage your conflict whenever you're running into that sort of issue. And if that is your life right now, then it's important to be looking at what exactly do they approve of, do they not approve of, and seeing how you can actually change. And is it all that really worth it? Because for me, losing yourself just for the sake of approval from someone else is not at all worth it. And in those kinds of situations, you really want to be changing your own lifestyle. You want to be changing your own environment. If it's people that you hang around with that don't approve of you, then it's important to find some other people that you want to be hanging around with and that actually appreciate you and accept you, as opposed to dwelling on and hanging around other people that always take you down, or that always tear you down, or people that don't accept you. And if it's your own family members, then it's important to be looking at what sort of things can you actually be doing. Can you actually get out of the house? Can you move away from that toxic environment, or can you change that environment somehow? And by asking those 4 questions, I think that you're able to find a solution for that.